everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. New music, so funny. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Let's Talk Football proudly brings to you its Washington Weekly Show, Washington Football Weekly.
Let's go!
Abs, the shirtless wonder, Dub K, Will Kramer, and Anton Benson, and you know the name. It's S to the P double deuce on the loose. Your boy Sean Spencer. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, baby? What's up, guys?
What's good, guys?
What's going on? Hey, you already know what it is, guys. It's Washington Football Weekly. And we're going to bring you something nice, something new about the team that we love. Amen to that. Hallelujah. I'm in the church, so we're going to go ahead and take it to church. All right? Give it to me now. All right? But, hey, before we get into that, we got a lot of stuff to give you. But recently, yesterday, we found out Tiger Woods, the famous golfer, was in a car accident where his car rolled several times. They had to get him out with the jaws of life. He was in a hospital for several hours, still there, recovering. They had to put a metal rod in his leg. We, on behalf of Washington Football Weekly and Let's Talk Football, we just want to send our warmest wishes and condolences and prayers to you, your family, Tiger. One of the greatest golfers definitely of our generation. And going on all time. I think he was three Masters away from the all time, and I think the best is 18. He had 15. But we just, that's not something we want to hear.
He's a legend.
Do you guys have anything to say on that? Or
he's a legend of the sport. Like, everybody has inspiration from him, and you can't feel nothing but compassion for this awkward situation. We just hope the best, and I really do, send all my prayers to the family and hope that he recovers fully.
Yeah.
I mean, he made golf cool,
Exactly.
And there's millions of kids out there that are decided to pick up a club because of what he does and how he plays and his celebrations. And Sunday Red that's iconic.
Yeah.
You just hope, obviously, that he can still be able to recover to play with his son, which you saw. And I mean, if he ever gets a chance to play again competitively, I mean, how amazing would that be?
Yeah.
So two things right there. Like, he made like black people interested in golf. Like, that's one thing I want to put out there. I know I couldn't tell you anything about golf before Tiger Woods before he was put on the scene. So that's one of the major things right there. But two, my man, they said, according to the story, they said this dude had 2 compound fractures, bro. Dude, if y'all don't understand what that is, that means the bone doesn't that mean the bone is poking out of the skin?
Yeah, that's out of it.
Bro.
Exposed.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I don't wish that on nobody. No, for real. Like, that's crucial, man. And honestly, I pray for anybody that has to go through that. Like, this man was dealing with a back before. Now he has to deal with these compound fractures in his legs.
Yeah.
Put in perspective, that's the same thing that Alex Smith had, y'all. So
that's exactly what I thought of.
2 times. Same thing Alex Smith had 2 times. So we just, like, honestly, all prayers to him, for real.
Yeah, because it's awful. And I'm glad you said that, Ab, because that's the truth. I remember in '96 when he was going for his first Masters, he was fresh and new on the scene, and my dad sat me down like we were watching the March on Washington with Dr. King. Like he was like, "You need to see this," and got upset. Yeah, he got
It's
upset.
almost history every time he played.
Right. At that time, I was like, man, what is this? Golf? I'm not watching golf. But he knew what that moment meant.
Right.
And look, we're not talking about this man as if he's passed, because he's not. He's alive. He's well. I heard he's coherent. He's talking, but it's just so awful. I mean, we're getting over a month and a year away from when Kobe passed in that horrible accident. And then this happens, and it's just like, oh. So we we send our prayers, we send our best wishes. Hopefully you'll get back on your feet, or just able to just to keep moving. Okay, right. Definitely want to do that. We want to take that second. And again, I'm using what you said to piggyback on the fact that it's still February, ladies and gentlemen. This is still Black History Month. And guys, I gotta say, we've been talking about a lot of guys. We talked about Bobby Mitchell, Charlie Taylor, Doug Williams. With Washington. But when we talk about Black History Month, and Will, you said something very key, is that, we definitely want to emphasize, Black History Month and those of the African-American community that did it. But we also want to understand the diversity that is also brought in, the inclusion of a lot of different people and races, not just male, but also female. But in order to know where you're going, you need to know where you've been. Fact of the matter is, Washington was the last team to integrate. In fact, our at the time owner who moved us to Washington stated that in 19, I believe it was 19, it was early 40s and 50s. George Tyler Farrell was the first African American player to be drafted and play on a team, play for the Bears. George Preston Marshall refused to play them because, and I quote, my players are not going to play on the same field with N. So, I mean, people have, you say it's a sign of the times and this and that. It is what it is. But we were the last team to integrate. But we did integrate. Let's not live back there. We did integrate. We brought the great Bobby Mitchell from Cleveland. We spotlighted that a couple weeks ago. We got him. He was absolutely amazing. Opened the door for guys like Charlie Taylor, open the door for stud teams. And then you bring it full circle. You go from a team that was not even allowing Black players to play on a team or even play on the same field to 1988 with Doug Williams leads the Washington Redskins during a tumultuous strike season, leads us to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, and was the first Black to be an MVP, first Black quarterback to be MVP of the Super Bowl.
Right.
From those moments to that time when it was the first this, first that, and now, ladies and gentlemen, we got Jason Wright, who's the president of the team. We got Martin Mayhew calling the shots. We brought him in, a former player. Now he's up there, and I got to show love. I got to show love to Jennifer King, the first full-time assistant female coach. One of the. I love it. I love this because this is progress, guys. You got to look. We can get upset, and I understand. There's a lot of things that you can get upset about the past and how things work. But listen, not forget that progress is being made, and in a city, in a place where we've been often criticized for being racist and having the racist name of Redskins and things like that. There's a lot of advancements made for people of different cultures and backgrounds, and a lot of diversity. So, and I'm gonna come to you, and this is a big move. This is something really good. I like this.
Oh, I love the spread. It showed the diversity shows the different impact of different brains working together, and I think having Jennifer King around, it shows a whole new aspect to opening up to what she can see on the field, what she sees from her angle, helping the running backs out to knowing what new things that they can be open up to. And I feel the diversity that we are expanding in this whole NFL is helping branch out and changing it for the better. We could have been the same 20 years ago and would have been the same blah, blah, football, but with things are changing, we have, different quarterbacks, how they can throw and what they can do with the ball. We have multitasking receivers that can do this, be punt returners and stuff, and now running back being able to catch the ball on the run. Like, these are changes that the whole NFL is going through, and I applaud our team for making Jennifer King and Martin Matthew breaking down barriers with all these new hires. I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing, Will. I mean, you touched on diversity. You touched on in the time that we've talked. But I mean, we're really leading the way in diversity hires and not having to rely on the Rooney Rule, where we have to bring somebody in that's of minority descent. We're actually doing it because we think they're the best candidate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, every offseason they talk about whether it's coaches, general managers, they talk about leadership positions, and is there opportunity truly for everyone? And representation matters. And we can, in Washington, we're at the forefront of it. Like you said, the team president, first Black president in NFL history. That's huge. Having Jennifer King, and with the Jennifer King situation, the players buy into it. They respect her, and so with that, so not only are you giving her the opportunity, you're also showing that she's qualified, and she should be out there on the sidelines, teaching these guys. And so it's just a great setup for the franchise. I love hearing this information with our franchise after what we've heard for so many years. This is the stuff we want to be highlighting.
Exactly. And you and I in that first episode, we talked about the name change. We talked about the things that we dealt with over just this past year and how we've had to deal with fans talking about, oh, well, the history and this and that. Well, if we're going to bring out the history, let's bring out the history. Okay. We were the last team to integrate. We did have an owner in George Preston Marshall who he added the first marching band and he had cheerleaders and he had these great things. He also was the one that said, I don't want my players on the field with me. You know what I mean? So man, talk to me, man. This is progress.
It's definitely progress. I appreciate it. And honestly, I know a lot of people will try to down this as to some type of affirmative action, and and I'll even add to it, so what if it is? I'm trying to tell you, we coming up, and you know what I'm saying? We're making this next step. This team is actually doing things and actually making a difference. We're going to talk about it later, you know what I'm saying? But maybe this is a culture change that we are trying to show, that we're trying to change in this organization. And I like the way it's moving, man. I really do. And honestly, maybe this is maybe a new change for ownership. Just saying. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Please. That's the change I want to see. Okay. Let's get that change going. All right. So look, again, progress, man. Guys, we're not where we want to be necessarily, but we're not where we were. We've come a long way, guys, and this is beautiful, but we still have a long way to go. So, a part of this show is we are going to sit here and bring this stuff to you because it's stuff that it's not going to get covered by everybody. People are going to talk about the big things. You got something to say?
I do, bro. Let's not forget though, because it's not Black History. It doesn't fall under Black History Month. Our main man, RR, for real. Let's put that out there. That this man is a minority. You know what I'm saying? Just because he doesn't fall under Black History Month, it doesn't fall under there. But he's a minority, and that's still a ways too. It's that's the difference that we're making, is a step in the right way, and I like that. I appreciate that. So we cannot not show love to Ron Rivera.
Oh yeah, and he's the one who actually met with Jennifer King when he was in Carolina. He's the one who brought her on his staff, and then continue and brought her over here with us. So you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to definitely spotlight Black History Month, but also the diversity, because I think that's the major thing.
Main thing.
One thing that came out with Black History and a lot of things that are happening with Black History Month and the struggles that they've gone through was also said that you could have women equality for women in these type positions and other minorities. You have a Ron Rivera, you have the Tom Flores, you know what I mean, the Iceman, these guys that are, you know, great coaches, but of minority backgrounds. So the diversity is huge, because what we're doing is we're becoming what we've always said we were, which is more inclusive.
Yes.
More inclusive.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, how about they hired from NBC Sports Washington, Julie Donaldson. You know, she was one of the first hires to be director of communications, and she's been a part of the name change and the marketing and the communications and the branding, which then they were able to pass off to Jason Wright to take the lead. But I mean, right there, it's also, you know, you're already showing as we keep talking about culture change on the field. Clearly, this organization needed a culture change off the field in the front office as well. And while I don't think they're done, I think they have recognized some problems, made some adjustments, fixes, and hopefully the people that they have in place will stay empowered enough to keep it going.
Yes. Let's not let's not overlook the fact that regardless of all this that's happening, there's still a corrupt man ahead of the organization.
Yes.
Yeah. So until we get him out, we don't know. But look, we can stay on here. We can stay on here because we will bring this up, like Ab mentioned earlier. But we got to move on. This week we're gonna point out wide receivers, because we have a stud. We have a captain in scary Terry McLaurin, but he needs help. He needs help, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna go right to my man Will. Topic number 1, Will's Corner. Talk about this wide receiver situation, Will.
Yeah. So we were talking about, you know, what does this team need, and we all said we need some receiver help. We've got Terry McLaurin and who else, and I kind of started thinking about, you know, looking at the roster and what could they do, and I thought, you know, when was the last time Washington had an elite receiver that the whole league talked about? And Odell Beckham, you know, DeAndre Hopkins, you know, one of the I love this guy from Tennessee, AJ Brown. You know, like one of these guys that just takes over. And we got so lucky last year in 2019 with that draft. I mean, they got a gem, and because everyone thought, okay, this guy could be a pretty good player. He can do this, do a little bit. But no one thought they were going to have a stud like they found with Terry McLaurin. You know, and why is it so important? I started looking back to the last couple of years. So one of the years that we had some real good offense in 2016, Kirk Cousins, listen to some of these offensive stats, man, they were dialing it up. You had Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson both with over 1,000 yards each. Right behind,
that was a great season.
He had over 800 yards. I mean, you talk about an air attack, but then it all left. Basically, when they left, you know, because we had the following year, Jordan Reed and Josh Doxson had about 500 each. So I mean, look how much. You know, one player we had 1,000, and then they couldn't even combine reach that level. You know, and so it just things have gotten bad. We got so lucky with McLaurin, but we don't have a whole lot else. You know, looking at the catching stats, all right, so we've got some good numbers. You know, J.D. McKissick had 87 or 80 catches this year, and Logan Thomas had 72 catches. But let's think back to that offense. Why were they catching the ball? Because were we throwing it more than 5 yards down the field?
Nope.
It's not hard to catch 80 balls when you catch at the line of scrimmage. Right. You know, and you looked at what McLaurin had. He had over 1,000 yards this year. And then the rest of the receivers had like a combined 1,300, 1,400 yards, but it took them 150 catches to get that. They're only averaging yards a catch, you know. Yeah. So he needs help. We saw a little bit from Cam Sims this year, a little bit. You know, he had almost 500 yards, which was more than I thought. I was really surprised when I looked that up and said, "Really? He really had almost 500 yards, but the offense, in order to keep going, is going to need help. There's times when they know they can double Mclaren, and then what do we have? So I mean, we need the help. I love Terry. We're so lucky, but but it's kind of we got to figure out who is the best target there. Do you spend money? Do you draft? Where should we go with it?
Yeah, that's key, man. And honestly, you look at Terry McLaurin, and we're gonna discuss this in a little bit, but you look at Terry McLaurin and how good he was and how he was made a captain, but you realize that like some of the games, like he was doing all this while getting coverage rolled over to him, while getting the safety up top and in the corner and then shadowing him and this and that. So he's done and with multiple quarterbacks. You know what I mean? He hasn't just had one quality quarterback. He's had a plethora. Yes, I said it, a plethora of quarterbacks, and they haven't been great. And so what do you think, man?
Man, the stats prove it right there, man. A couple years ago, we were bombing to our receivers every chance we had. To have two receivers on our team with 1,000 yards, that's a big feat to have. And then, it just dropped off. Like we had, receivers dropping like flies and couldn't catch the ball or couldn't hold on to it. Our tight end was our number one receiver. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But, going off him, now that we have a whole squad, it's going to even out. I can see that in our team. But
again, and Ab, we definitely know we need to look into the free agency. We definitely know we need to look into the draft, free agency, trades, whatever we can do to get these guys, because Ab, we can't keep going with expecting Terry to do all this stuff by himself.
In my opinion, we're holding them back. Like, what I'm saying? Like, let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we don't have another dependable person to put on the other side of Terry, I think Richard Sherman was saying that earlier this week. He was sitting there saying, if we had a legitimate number two, how much would Terry be jumping off of like he'd be probably top 5 receiver, you know what I'm saying? Like
every game.
That dude, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but if they're just dedicated on one side of the field, they know that's our only receiver. You know what I'm saying? We can't there's nothing we can do about that until we get a number two. And
right.
that's what we need to talk about, is that everyone wants to say, oh, Terry needs to step up the moment he steps up and becomes a legit number one receiver. No, stop it. The moment we get a number 2 receiver, that's when Terry will show the hell out.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely right. And Will, you mentioned J.D. McKissick and Logan Thomas as our 2 guys this year. And while they did great, I mean, shout out to them. I mean, but nobody – McKissick maybe okay because he's always been a receiving back, but we didn't see this. We didn't see these 2 guys as our top guys. And can we really realistically rely on that in the future? You know what I mean? Just that.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, like Logan Thomas, he had a huge year. And typically, Scott Turner's offense, if he follows Norv Turner, his dad's offense, he's gonna have tight end be a part of it, but 72 catches again next year. Can we really count on that? I don't know. Did they find that gem of a tight end that no one really knew, or did they find someone who just kind of surprised some, people? And people were people covering, Terry so much that it allowed for Logan Thomas to get open. But no, I mean, I think we need to find ways. We need another weapon on offense to relieve some of that pressure on Terry, to help get those guys open as well, and just make it more balanced. Make our offense. We talked about last week with the running backs. We need to be less predictable out there.
Yep, absolutely. Honestly, and I'm going to go to you, and we're going to go. And thank you, Will, for that. We're going to keep talking about wide receivers, But there's before I go to you, Ant, there's one thing I want to say. I really got to. I truly have to say that I appreciate Terry for the fact that we know how good he is. Everybody around him knows how good he is, even to the point where he might even know how good he is. But how many times have you seen him do an Odell Beckham or a Dez Bryant on the sidelines, throwing helmets and because I'm not getting the ball? And I mean, he's had quarterbacks likes of a Josh Johnson, a Dwayne Haskins, you know what I mean? Kyle Allen, you know what I mean? He's had guys that aren't not anything to write home about. And he's not sitting here getting all bent out of shape and rah. No, he's chasing down guys, making sure they don't get touchdowns and potentially save it and turning the momentum of the game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'll follow him. I will follow that guy. And I'm glad he's our captain. So, we're going to go ahead and go on to number 2 and go ahead and just keep talking about it, man. Ant, talk to him. Give us that info on Terry Mclaren, man, our guy.
All right. So, Terry. Everybody loves this man. He's, third round draft pick out of Ohio State 2 years ago. This man has proved himself and dedicated himself to this team. He just wasn't chosen as a captain. His team chose him. Landon Collins, our big safety, went down, I think, game 8 or 6 or 8. The team stood up themselves and said, "Yo, we don't want no one as our captain but Terry." And they just voted him, completely outright voted him and said, "You know what? We need you as our captain. We need you as our leader. Bring us home. Like, show us how to be." This man, he's proved it with so many different quarterbacks. He's had 6 quarterbacks since he's been to the Redskins. He's had Heineke, he's had Smith, he's had Haskins, he's had Kyle Allen. Don't forget Colt McCoy and Case Keenum. All those quarterbacks. I mean, that's a list to work with.
It's painful.
This man has yet stay determined to be in that outside receiver. He's worked with who he's had to work with. Coming up this year, him and Logan Thomas have just outright been the best receivers for all our quarterbacks this year. They've both combined for, I think it was over 68% catches. So they are very dependable for how much they're getting passed to. He had 87 receptions for 1,018 yards. I mean, he put on a great amount of work and duty for the quarterbacks that he had to pick up for. He had to get those yards when Gibson was out of the game. He had a sprained ankle, I think, in game 16. He tried to do his best, couldn't come back. Game 14. Didn't play against Philadelphia. Ended up trying to play in that last game and played against Buccaneers. Couldn't play the whole game, but he still tried. He was like, "You know what? I'm going to still hobble out here and put in some yards." And he still got 6 catches for 64 yards. You can't ask much more of a team captain that's already injured. Like him and Alex both, they're on injured legs, and yet he's out there. They're both showing. He's like, "You know what? I'm not going to let my team down." And both of them did. Just to look at how Terry has gained his momentum in 18 games, the first 18 games of his career, he has basically made a mark for himself. The only person that can compete with him in yards and touchdown is Jerry Rice. That's a serious notion to be on. Jerry Rice and Mclaren have both had 80 or Rice had 70 receptions. McLaren had 84. Rice had 1,300 yards. McLaren had 1,306. Rice had 6 touchdowns. McLaren has 8. So you can't, out of those first 18 games, pushing him to his limits of being on the bar, beating his defensive man. He knew he knows the zone so fucking well. He just, when he finds that pocket, he's always open and he goes for those extra yards. just for some of his stats, like he had 8.3 yards after carry. So that man was always getting the ball and looking upfield. He wasn't trying to go side to side. He was north and south.
Yep.
Always got those extra yards, push forward, being 6 foot, 220 yards. That's not a big receiver. But that man had a 42-inch vertical, could jump almost over any CB that he was up against, and was always catching the ball. Like, I think the first game that I saw his hands was last year against Green Bay. And he caught that one-handed turnaround pass in the end zone. That was it for me. From right then and on, I had trust in that dude because we were down, I think, by 1 touchdown. He tied us up by making that catch. I have all faith in this man. I believe in him. I hope that this kid has a great career. He's got 2 more years with us. I think even after that, he's going to sign more. And I want him to because he's made such a detriment to our team. Yeah. So I really do hope that Terry McLaurin stays with our team and the way he's going to skyrocket some records for our team. I really do. Will, you got anything to say with that?
You talk about the play on the field is, he's always trying, he's always hustling. He shows that leadership. I think the play for him that shows how much he embodies being a captain is that Dallas Thanksgiving game when Jalen Smith picked off the ball. And I threw my head up, well, there's a pick six. Jeez, next thing you know, he makes a tackle. It was like the 2-yard line. Then the defense held up, and did they miss the field goal or botch something?
Yep.
That thing.
Like that right there, it's like we talked about with Ron Rivera. Like, you're gonna work your ass off for a guy like that. If your receiver just runs down someone like that, you sure as heck know that defense got fired up and said, "Let's go. We're stopping them. We're making a play." They feed off each other like that. Those like you mentioned, he doesn't come up and off the sidelines. This is the type of guy you want to pay the money to. You want this guy to be the face of your franchise. This is who we need.
Easily, Ab, man. So my question, and like Ant said, he's got 2 more years until we sign him off that rookie contract. Is he somebody that this year? Let's talk about an extension. Let's talk about. Do we put that time into him? Get that money into him right now, Ab?
If I'm correct, after this season, he's up for an extension. So let's be real about that. Like, let's not even wait until free agency to even let him get there. You know what I mean? Like, after the 3rd season, let's go. Hey, baby boy, we want you here.
Yes.
You're here. We want you here. Okay, so that's what we're going to do is we're going to try to make this work out between us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm all in love. Like, I'm really in love with this guy. And honestly, the best play, and I'm just going to piggyback on Will. The best play this man ever did was when he ran after the interception and tackled the dude on the 2-yard line or so. That is the best play. It wasn't even an offensive play, bro. And that's the best play right there. We need more people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I recall maybe it was like 2 or 3 years ago when we had Jordan Reed in the game, and it was against Houston. Oh my gosh, the game that Alex Smith got hurt. So it was a touchdown throw, and Jordan Reed literally looked at old boy, intercept the ball, and he was a yard or 2 away from him and didn't do nothing. He just like that.
Go.
My dude, I'm trying to tell you, that play still haunts me. The dude ran it back for a touchdown, and we started losing. Like, that's when everything started to fall. So I blame Jordan Reed for Alex Smith's broken leg. So I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm mad at Jordan Reed for that shit right there.
Yes.
Because if it wasn't for that play, Alex Smith would not have to have the game on the line and had to be pressurized to do all that he had to do for that. But like I said, the heart that Terry McLaurin had in that play is the best play. To me, we need a lot more players like that. We need players that are going to just, you know what I'm saying, it's for our team. This is for the game. This is what we paid for. This is what we like, you know what I'm saying? This is what we love. You know what I'm saying? I ride for you. I'm going to die for you. And I'm going to put my all in every game. And I like this man. This man does this all the time.
Yeah.
We need people like this. And I'm trying to tell you, sign them up after this year, man. I don't care.
Absolutely.
I do not care. Sign them up.
Well, you know,
Other people on the team, no doubt. Like, he really does bring the heart out of people.
you know, when you're talking about signing them up, you know, it brings up great points. I know we're going to get into how they can get receivers, how can they can get better at receivers, but how do you go pay someone else to come into your franchise, give them $10, $15 million, and get your best players on this rookie contract making what, like $800,000, and you just say, yeah, we're good with that. Like, you know, I mean, I think this year is one thing, but I'm with you. Like, if we're gonna try and bolster the receivers and bring someone in, you also got to show love to your best player there. And you can't stiff him, you know, just because he's on his rookie contract. You know,
I believe we can. I believe we can pay both. I honestly do. Terry, like me, Terry's going to be on this. So we'll file an extension, and as we all know, early on in contracts, that's when they make it the real smallest as possible.
Yeah.
Put all the money into bonuses and all that other stuff to make it smaller against the cap.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that, and we'll do that with Terry, and still be able to pay a good wide receiver this year, and still be okay here on out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we got to do it. We got to do it right away. And guys, first I'm gonna shout out Janae because I know you're watching. We're gonna bring back that memory when Hardy intercepted it. And he's running, I got a touchdown. He's looking at himself on the TV, and he gets tackled. And you know what my favorite part about that was? My favorite part about after McLaurin tackled him, McLaurin didn't jump up. McLaurin didn't go, woo. Ran right back to the sidelines. Hardy turned around. Who got me? What
was that?
Tackle me. And McLaurin's already on Terry's already on the sideline. They're like, yeah, Terry. And he's just like, he's focused on the fact that there was an interception. He's focused on that we don't have the ball anymore. Okay, and that's what his mindset is. Oh wait, she's gonna try to say, but he made the field goal. Oh, but you were at the 2-yard line, Janae, and you didn't get a touchdown. What happened?
Yeah.
That defense.
That might have been the last points they had today.
Are y'all them boys today? What happened?
Who won the game?
Live from Australia. What's up, today?
Yeah, who got that W? Who got that W?
Who won the game?
Who got that W?
Who won the game?
Wait a minute. Where's the broom? Can we get a broom out here? We can sweep up some trash. Let's sweep up some trash real quick. Let's go.
Sweep it on out of here.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, guys, and I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all bringing it because that's something huge. I love that. I love what you guys are saying. And I think we do, regardless of who we get, I think we need to make it known, not only to the guys that we bring in, but also to him. You are our guy. You have been there when we didn't have anything else. We roll with you. You roll with us. We're with you. We're going to give you the money. You're going to be our captain. Let's go. Let's keep on with you. Let's give him that money when the time comes. Get somebody else to help him out. Let him know that we appreciate him. But that's your leader. You know what I mean? To have one guy like that on the offense, you have a Chase Young on the defense. We've seen it for years. Look, we've been through this stuff for years. But I'm going to tell you, Will, I'm coming to you. I'm excited. I'm excited. You have a guy like this on your team. I'm excited. Am I naive? Am I getting ahead of myself?
No. I mean, like we said, we see it. The rest of the league is starting to see it. No, those are two building blocks, and those are two, trendsetters isn't the right word, but like they're the ones that are going to lay the foundation and set the team for the rest of the season, and their players are going to follow them. These are the guys you want.
Yeah, I love it. All right, man. So we will go ahead and move on from that. We're going to hit some wide receiver help a little bit later, and definitely talk about some guys that we think we should bring in. But before we do that, there's a couple things that went on in Washington this week that we're going to go ahead and address in topic number 3, which is that's not it. There it is right there. Nope, that's not it either. There we go. Like it, love it, or hate it. Yeah. So if you don't know, we in this segment we discuss current events, things that we might like, we might love, or we might hate it. It's done. We can't stand it. A week ago, if you remember, we talked about the potential re-sign of Brandon Sheriff. They actually got him in there to have those conversations. We all had a certain opinion on that. And we also talked about another person, Alex Smith, if we should then re-sign him. Well, that's still it. I don't know if it's looking like that's going to happen. And Ab, I'm coming to you first. Like it, love it, or hate it. Alex Smith made some comments about the team. How you feel about that?
I love it. I love it. You know why?
Because he's gone.
Easier for us to get rid of his ass. So I love it. So you can't tell me nothing right now, bro. He's like, you know what I'm saying? Like this, like he made these comments, and I'm okay with it. Like it's on his heart. It's heavy on his heart. It's just real talk, and I'm trying to like. I love people that real talk on some stuff. I mean, he should have real talk to them. That I'd like that a little bit better, but he real talked, you know what I'm saying? And he's got people speculating and everything like that. His talk makes it seem like he wants to get released, though. So you know what I'm saying? Like maybe he feels disrespected on the team looking for a new quarterback, and that's what we like. To me, it's like, how much do we look into that? Like how offended this man is. He literally. I can see this man being offended, being hurt by the team looking for a new player, and this man literally came back from 17 surgeries, you know what I'm saying, almost got his leg amputated and everything like that. I can see how he'd be offended and feel betrayed by this team. But at the same time, bro, is it your first year in the league, man? Come on.
No.
Come on, man. Stop being so butthurt, man. Like, this ain't high school, you know what I'm saying? Like, when my man Spence came in for me, I wasn't hurt too long. So, so like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Get buck up, bro. Buck up, man. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Alex Smith needs to just, for real, just, like, buck up on this and literally just realize this is a business before you want people to hold your hand through this whole ordeal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you literally got paid 2 years of this contract for doing nothing. Yeah. I'm going to say it. I said it. I'll say it again. You did nothing in 2 years. And you still got paid a lot of money. I wish I got unemployment like that. Where's my stimulus check? Like, like, you know what I'm saying?
You want to go through what he went through.
Get out of here with that.
Yo, hey, real quick, and I'm gonna come to you next, Will. Real quick. The only time I came in there for Ab is when the game was already in the books. And if I remember correctly, I came in there one time on a third down, and I ran a play, got knocked in the backfield. I come over to Ab. He said, "What the hell is wrong with you, man?" Hits me upside down. Tell me the whole story, Ab. So, yo, Will, like it, love it, or hate it, man.
I hated it. I don't know what. I just feel like Alex Smith is a very calculated person. If you listen to his press conferences, he doesn't tell you anything, so he's very careful with his words. And so I just find this really, really surprising and just kind of like not out of character for him, One thing I noticed in the article, well, first of all, I think both parties can be correct in this. Alex Smith can say, they didn't want me here. I didn't feel like they had plans for me, and I had to beg for my job. That can be correct. And it can also be correct that the team said, we had no idea you were going to be able to play. We had no idea you could take a hit. And so we could not count on you. Like, both sides can be right in this situation. It's not like who was right and who was wrong. The other thing I noticed about the article was it was all about preseason. Did you feel wanted? And there was one comment about at the end of the season, Ron Rivera saying, well, we could have done the same things with Kyle Allen, but they never really asked him like, well, okay, so now that you played, how did you feel? Did your teammates embrace you? They all just kind of, the article focused on all just the preseason stuff. But I'm with Ab where, like, I mean, you're not going to bring him back now. He clearly, what is that going to be for the locker room? What's that going to be with Ron Rivera, so, which is probably, money-wise, it makes sense. Like you said, that was a great point that they're already shopping for a new quarterback, so he sees what's going on, and he may be a little upset, but I'm sorry, dude, like, that Philadelphia game was awful, Like, there's nothing about that play when you were hurt, or even the Detroit game where, I mean, we were losing, and so you had to throw for – time after time to get your close to 400 yards. But nothing about your play says you should be the starter next year. So, if this is what it takes, what it takes.
Or take a chance on you. Like,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to say I hate that he had to say these comments now. Like, it's after the time he's already done. He already knows he's out the door. Like, he's got to say these things like, oh, I wish they did give me – he's not an Antonio Brown. You are not that dude. So don't try and pretend like you are now. But I think where his head at is, he's not giving up on his body, so his brain's not giving up on him.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think, he's been through the tough. He's been through that storm. And now he's like, you know what? I can do almost anything now. And now he's like free when he's in, this interview. He thinks he can almost say everything. And he can't because, he's already spent his 10 years in the league. He got dumped by San Francisco for Kaepernick. He got dumped by the Chiefs for this. And now he's about to get dumped again. So, he's feeling some type of way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel him on that. His body his body wanted to be there for all the games, but he just could not. And I think his mentality is starting to take over. Like, I'm going to talk all the smack I can, to see if I can still play and do this stuff. But I think, man, he just needs to hang up his cleats and be proud of where he's at and where he ended at in his career.
Mm-hmm.
I said last week that, he's there for that emotional relief for the team. But I think he could be more of a detriment to, like, in the locker room with being a coach, assistant, something of that sort, where his eyes on the field is like Tony Romo. Tony is a better person in the booth than he was on the field.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes.
I mean, first Super Bowl he's ever been to, that's all his mouth. That's all his mouth. But I think, Alex could almost be the same way with us. He could – the way he sees the field, he could see it way better in the booth and give us all different kind of reading. And just let Heineke be that starter for next year.
Shut up, man. What? Stop.
If let him. Let Heineke be our leader. Just let Alex hang up his cleats and put it behind us.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yo. Listen, I like it. Okay. Now, I like it because, like we've been saying, he needs to get out. And I think this is good. This is going to be something that's going to, hey, the writing's on the wall now. Okay. Mm-hmm. Part of it, though, I hate the timing because it's like you said, why are you coming out with this now? It's already written on the wall that we're kind of leaning away from you, and now you're coming out with this against a team. Oh, they didn't want me. That. Well, it's like you said, you was injured for 2 years. They're honoring a contract. Well, we don't even know if you're going to be back on the field.
Oh, did he break up?
His face. Poor Sean.
Sean, bro. Sean.
Oh.
All right, we're gonna spend this time to diss on Anton for that Heineke comment.
No.
Oh, you do not do Heineke at all. Do not say that. And we're only paying this man like $4 million a year. He is not going to be our quarterback.
It's going to happen.
Back to better conversations. Finish your point, Sean.
It's going to happen.
Listen, okay? Like I said, I like it. I think he sees his time on the wall, the writing's on the wall. He felt some type of way, yes. But a lot of that is he's getting sliced. He made it through the season, and now everybody's saying, oh, we're so happy for you, Alex. You did such an amazing thing. They're going to make a movie about you, Alex. You're da-da-da. Yes, they are. Now ride off in the sunset and take your money and go. You've had your career. You've been a number 1 draft pick. You've been to 2 separate places that they shipped you out for another guy. Now, I'm not going to go like Ant and say Heineke is going to replace him kind of like Mahomes did and Kaepernick did.
Please,
you know, I'm not going down there, but I am saying that he is a player.
I got wishful thinking.
Oh, okay. That's too wishful now. But look, but hey, he's out the door. He's out the door, and I think this is one of those things where now he's out the door and he kind of feels some type of way, so he's gonna go ahead and make these comments. Thank you for sticking with me. Apologize for the technical difficulties, but we will move on. Will, I'm coming to you first on this one. Like it, love it, or hate it. Recently, there's been some rumors that Jeff Bezos may have a little interest in the team. Dan Snyder out. How you feel about this?
I mean, I would love it. I mean,
get it.
Amazon into the empire that we can't live without. So come on, I'll take his leadership. You know, I'll say this: I'm struggling to buy it. Struggling to buy the idea, not because I don't think he may want to be an owner, because Dan Snyder is going to go kicking and screaming out of the league.
Absolutely.
He's not looking to sell right now. And I don't buy that Jeff Bezos is going to be willing to be a 40% minority owner to Dan Snyder. He ain't going to be his little – no way would he allow for him, that to happen. Dan Snyder's not going to get to, talk to him the way he talks to the 3 minority owners that we have. So that's why I struggle with it, but I love it. I mean, I'm good with the rumors. I'm good with hearing that he's got an interest and he's poking around and looking. And if it's enough for the NFL to say, okay, Bezos wants to be an owner. We have an owner that has made some major problems, and in a city that we need to have better viewers, better fans, more attendance. They're struggling.
Yep.
I would love if the NFL stepped in here and said, time for you to go. But I mean, so I love it. I just my excitement is being tempered because I don't know how far it's gonna go.
Yep. Anton.
You know what? I'm gonna be a twist on this and say that I kind of hate it just because of how much influence Jeff Bezos has on everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For him to try and make himself known into the Washington facility, into the name of things, he has to develop a lot on his own. He doesn't have already a foot in the door of being a Washington Redskins fan. He has the merchandise. He has, the Washington Post from being around there. But I feel like it would be more of a hardship to bring him on than actually already having what we have. And I feel, with Will, unless the NFL really steps in and says something about the whole Dan Snyder and what he's done and how his bad influence is hurting the team, I can't really be on the Bezos train until that's already set in stone. I think he's got so much behind him with Amazon and such a business that he runs that I don't think he'll be, he's only going to be 40%. So how much of that 40% is he really going to really influence himself into a team?
Mhm.
I think it's better just if the NFL stepped in rather than just taking 40%. I really do.
Yeah.
That's just
Oh yeah. So me personally, I love it. I love it. Anything that could potentially get Dan Snyder out of here and end this nightmare of him being our owner, great. I love it. I get where you're coming from, because and Will too. I don't know the validity or how much we can really put into this story. It would be nice, but you kind of feel like after everything that happened this year with Dan Snyder, and you're like, if he's not out by all those things that have been coming out, what is it going to take? Right.
Yeah. And like I said, with him being in part of the Washington Post, he was the one that leaked out the stuff about Dan Snyder. So in retrospect, how much is he going to be petty when he is part owner? Like, what is he going to start leaking to the Washington Post as he's, dealing with this and that? Like, those things you have to think that I'm thinking about as an owner of the team,
Come on, baby. It's okay.
So I love it. Hey, Ab, how you feeling, man? How you think? Like it, love it, or hate it?
Give me 1 second. Let me say goodnight to my daughter real quick, guys.
Yeah, handle that.
I'm sorry, baby. It's okay.
But I think Bezos he could really be a good turnout if or when
Love you.
Yeah.
this happens.
If it
We've already
happens.
had the coaching staff. We've already had the front office getting. If it goes all the way up top, this could be.
It seems too fairy tale. I mean, I know he's building the
You're right.
the headquarters in what the Roslyn area or wherever but it's just like these are dots that are too easy to connect. I don't know.
Right. What you think, man? Like it, love it, or hate it?
Just Bezos, John. You guys made good points and everything like that. Honestly, I know what Anton said about basically Jeff Bezos having a monopoly up in here in the DMV, but I'm all for that shit, bro. Yeah, man. I could care less. Amazon Stadium sounds nice to me. So,
Real nice.
man, I feel good right there, that my boy. You know what I mean?
If I could go to a game and pick up packages, yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you, man. I think we'd probably get a new stadium out of it. Like, I think no offense to the Trumpers out there, but I really think my mans would get a new stadium out there and he'd make this deal happen. I think so. When I said the Trumper statement, I think Dan Snyder is the Donald Trump of the NFL. So I don't think a lot of people like messing with him because he's a greedy some bitch. So they just don't want to rock with him. And you know what I'm saying? And to me,
They only rock with him because he's the boss.
I'm sorry?
I said they only rock with him because he's the boss.
Right there.
Well, think of it this way: the owners, they don't like him, but they don't have any negative attention on themselves because he's always going around messing up.
Yep.
You know?
But at the same time, he's messing up their money too.
Yeah.
If you understand, like they all make money together, and then it's like dispersed out of 32 teams. And so Dan Snyder is messing up their money because of how he rocks with these sex trafficking allegations, these sexual harassment things. Like, this man is a dirty sumbitch. And I don't to be honest, the league would probably be a lot better with Bezos in the realms of the owner, as the owner right now. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine if they if Jeff Bezos was the owner, how other the attention that would be brought to the league for that, man. Like they make money, bro,
Right.
just because of him. Just
think about
because
it.
of him.
You know,
We make money just because of him. I'd even say we get some star players because of him. Like it's too easy for me, man. I love this, man.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Will. What were you saying?
I was going to say, he's one of those top 5 people in the world as recognizable. You know Tim Cook, Bill Gates. You do know who Donald Trump is before he was president. You know who he is. Why would you not want that a part of your fraternity?
Right. And that's huge. Coming off of what we've come off of this past year, where I mean everything, Murphy's Law, everything that could go wrong basically did go wrong for us. And having that at the head of everything that's happened, with the name change, but just with all of his dirty laundry being aired and just having that hang over us, it's way past time. But
I'm sorry, bro. Just to add to what Will said, little to no negativity added to that, though. Like that right there speaks volumes to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the fact that everyone in the league, in NFL world, fans and everything know Dan Snyder's name. That's too much, man. Can you tell me? Can you tell me? Tennessee's owner. No. Why does everybody know Dan Snyder? Like it's because of all this bullshit. So that's just like, you get what I'm saying? Like we don't know a lot of other owners' names. We shouldn't know Dan Snyder's neither.
We shouldn't.
He's been like that bad kid in the back of the class that ruins recess. He's had that problem with cheerleaders and all, whatever that problem is. And just listen to you guys. Like if I see Bezos be our team president or be our owner, he's gonna be like a Mark Cuban. Like he's just gonna on everything.
I like that.
Like he really is. Like that's why I say like it has to be 100% for me to really involved in that, because I can see the positive that he could influence, but I could also see that kicking and screaming that it's gonna happen if something isn't pulled his way,
Right.
I can see this dude giving out Teslas at games, so I'm all for it. So let's do it. I'm all about it. Let's go.
Hey, look, if Bezos comes in here like Oprah, talking about you get it, if that's right, let's go ahead and make our plea right now. Bezos, we are Washington Football Weekly, and we are all about you coming. So,
yes, sir. Come sponsor us.
Come on.
Yo, we got to move on. We have to move on. Definitely tune in because we're definitely going to be talking about that. I mean, again, dependent on the validity of the story, we're definitely going to be talking about that. Hopefully some good news has happened. But like I stated before, we've had a whole bunch of stuff that most other owners would have already been out years ago for. And this guy has still weathered that storm. So he's pretty ingrained in it. And abs, not to go down this road, but since you did bring up Trumpers, as we've seen with certain people, even when they are kicked out, sometimes they're like, nah, we bring it down the house if we leave. I don't want to go too far in that. I don't know where we got in the audience, but I'm just saying, let's see. So, we'll go ahead and
right back to the regular show.
I got to bring in my man, Ab. We've talked about wide receivers this entire show. So, Ab, man, I'm bringing you up. You gave us a comprehensive list of free agent wide receivers that you like and just guys that were open and available. This is a key position that we need. So, Ab, I'm sending it to you, man. What you got for us, man?
All right, let me start off with this. As any Washington football team fan knows, we need a number 2. And like I said prior in the show, that in order for Terry Mclaren to excel as a player, excel as a team captain, excel, and for this team to excel as a team, not only is a quarterback, and everyone knows quarterback is the issue, we need a number 2. And yes, I'm not dumb, guys. I understand. We got Kelvin Harmon, that got injured in training camp this year, torn ACL, out for the year. And honestly, I was excited about this boy, man. This boy is nice. And I don't know if you guys understand about this man. You guys look at this man and look at him. It's like, look, he was a 6th round pick. And so how excited can you be about this guy? Let me tell you this first. This man was graded as a first round wide receiver. First round wide receiver when he was in there and when he was being drafted. And so basically the fact that we got this man as a steal in the 2nd round, boy, man, y'all better stop playing with me.
Wait till he gets healthy.
What's up?
I said, wait till he's healthy.
Bro, come on, bro. Like this dude, I can't wait for this dude to show out. I don't know his measurements or whatnot, but the dude's tall. And my brother tall. My brother's 6'5" and just tall for no reason. Like it's like I don't even understand why people be this tall. Like give me I'm 5'9". Give me some of those inches. Right? I need help. Like so this dude tall. He's strong. He's fast. He's the wide receiver that I see as the best wide receiver to be opposite of Terry McLaurin. One of them jump ball types, ones that you can't tell if it's a tight end or a wide receiver. One of them guys, and that's Kelvin Harmon. Not to mention the guy that we got last year in the draft, my man AGG, Gandy Golden.
Oh, yes.
Dude is too nice, bro. Too nice. What round did we get him in, guys?
We got
4th
round, yeah.
Dude, he didn't even have the opportunity to show all his goodies this time, bro. I'm trying to tell you, I'm calling it right now. Andy Gandy Golden. I'm sorry, I don't know his first name. Gandy Golden.
Antonio Gandy Golden.
Gandy Golden goodies. That's gonna be out there. I'm gonna try to tell you, it's gonna be his goodies when he's sitting there catching these dimes and the touchdowns, bro. And the dude is sick. The dude, I don't know if you guys understand this, but this guy is smart too. Honestly, this dude is totally smart. He understands defenses. This guy is ridiculous. And he's like, honestly, I was calling him to be drafted by us, and I'm excited to see this man play. Free agency. Let's move to free agency. Free agency, this is where it's at. This is where we're all excited about. Free agency. The Allen Robinsons, the Chris Godwin, like those are the obvious picks. But honestly, let's Will Fuller's. But I want to dig deeper into wide receivers, and I really want to point out one guy, one of my favorites. This is my favorites. That's not the top 3 that's out there. Okay, Corey Davis. Corey Davis is a legit guy, and he was he was a top 5 pick when he was drafted. And the man, like, he was slow starting off. And to me, I'm in a Ron Rivera kind of mindset. I like guys that aren't going to be like, oh, we're going for him. We're going for everyone in the league is going to go for this person. I like the guys that low-key fits with us and won't cost me a bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And so I like Corey Davis in that aspect. The guy is nice. Honestly, Tennessee did not have a number 1 and a number 2. They had a number 1. They had 1A and 1B, and that is why they excelled so well last year. And I'm honestly, I cannot wait for this man to push out something for the next team. And so my dark horse, I'll even say this. I want to introduce it like this, Sean. Let me know if this is okay. But like my pick, what I would like to pick, and my dark horse.
Okay.
And so, is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So my dark horse. Sorry, give me 1 second. Man, I just had the dude's name. Oh, I'm sorry. Rashad Perryman. I like this guy, man. Honestly, I thought we should have signed him last year. Stop laughing, Will. Nobody talking to you.
He was Who is this guy? Like,
There's nobody talking to you, Will. Rashad Perryman, man. That dude, I'm trying to tell you, man. Like, wasn't he a first round pick too?
Yeah.
I like him, man. Like, honestly, when he's not hurt and like leaned up being a punk, like, this dude is nice.
That's his career. He's either hurt or he's a punk. Do you know that Rashad Perryman was on the Redskins like 2 or 3 years ago? Then they cut him. They wanted to bring him back, and he got picked up, I think, by it wasn't Baltimore, but someone else picked him up, and so we lost him. They done tried that.
Oh, we should have gotten him again.
He has improved since being on the roster. So yes, he has made more glimpses. I'll give you that.
Yo, so all right, so I'm going to you, Will. So who do you think? You've seen the list. Where do you think we should go? So you got your pick. Who's your pick? And then we're gonna go with pick and the dark horse. Is that what you're saying, Ab? Yeah. So give me a pick or two, and then a dark horse.
I mean, I would love, and I'd pay the money that we were going to pay it last year for Amari Cooper. I would love a guy like Allen Robinson, because we talked about how good Terry McLaurin has been. He's been putting up numbers with Blake Bortles, Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles throwing to him. He put up even bigger numbers than McLaurin had this year. So I would love someone like that, because I think he's proven he can do it with really bad quarterbacks. He's going to cost a lot of money, and I don't, it's like the whole thing. Why would he want to come here? If he's had a whole career of bad quarterbacks, what do we offer today? So we'll have to see who we bring in to really entice him.
We'd have to promise a good quarterback in free agency.
Yeah, we would have to otherwise. And I think that's with any of these receivers. You're right. Corey Davis is a great guy. Great opportunity. It's the same thing as how are we attracted to him? So my dark horse is Tim Patrick out of the Denver Broncos.
What?
And the reason why is
I don't my fantasy team.
See, I wouldn't have known about him until I picked him in fantasy. He kept getting touchdowns and catches, and I'm like, who is this guy? But they've already invested so much into their receivers the last couple of years. They drafted Cortland Sutton. They drafted KJ Hamler. They drafted Jerry Jeudy last year. I just don't know if they're going to be able to keep him around, because they've got so many other young guys that they're going to try. Plus, hearing all the rumors are, Denver would be really in for Deshaun if they got an opportunity. So he's got some size. I'm with you where I want to see something out of Kelvin Harmon and an AGG. So I don't want to bring in someone that takes him away. I would love to give a 1-year flyer on a guy who busted out. And busted in a bad way. He was a bust of a draft pick in Cincinnati, and John Ross as someone to stretch the field. It'd be a 1-year prove it, but because he was hurt last year too. So it might have been a leg injury, meaning so you got to show us, do you have the speed?
No, he wasn't hurt.
Did he opt out? Because I saw he only had
he was a healthy scratch. They really messed him up. They really did.
So there could be something going on there with the team, but he obviously needs a fresh start. He's fast. I think we could use someone that could just go over the top, that can scare the defense, so that McLaurin can run underneath. Our possession guys, Harmon and AGG, can go underneath. The only other guy that I thought would be interesting to see is a guy out of San Francisco, Kendrick Bourne. Only because Kyle Shanahan, he had guys go all over the place. They run multiple routes, multiple positions, and I don't think he cost a lot.
Gotcha. Nice. And Anton, what you got?
Okay, so I'm gonna have two odd ones that probably nobody's gonna like. So, looking down the list, and I've always been for wide receiver a person that's that yards after carry. You can catch the ball and you can put 2 feet down and get up the field. That's where I feel you are a better receiver to me. One of the receivers I like this year was actually Willie Snead, and he's on the free agent list. Baltimore. He was one of the most dependable receivers for Laval, and he was worth $2 million over 2 years. He only caught, I think he only was targeted like 60 something times last year, but that's still a lot for a receiver. He only had 680 something yards, which is pretty marginal. He's in the medium pack. Okay. But when I talk about his yards after carry, this guy averaged almost 12 yards after the ball. That's, through that whole season, that's a lot of yards to catch and go up the field with. He's always in the zone. He's always beating his man. He's always, he's a fast receiver. And I feel because of where Mclaren is, 2 fast receivers, if you have them on both sides of the ball, you're already catching speed going down the field. And, having Mclaren be that 5-yard slant kind of guy and having that long ball, I think that could be a detriment to the offense itself. And with him being a little bit taller, he's 6'2", I think 210 was his measurements. So he's a bigger receiver, a lot more athletic. And I think he ran like a 4.340. So he's pretty damn quick.
You got wheels, yeah.
Really quick. But so as we call it with our dark horse, looking down that list out of a lot of those names, I had to pick one. And it was Zach Pascal from Indianapolis.
Okay.
I had to talk about him just because he's a multi-talented receiver. He didn't just play wide receiver. He was a punt returner and on the PAT. So he had a lot more depth to himself than just being a receiver. And I think that could be somebody that could probably, be a long run. Give him a 3-year contract. He's only been in the league for 4 years. So he's still young. So why not?
3 years, man?
Yeah, I think it was, 4? He's only been 3 years with Indianapolis.
No, you're right. He's been in the league that long, but give him a 3-year contract for doing nothing.
I see the potential he has, not just because of not doing anything. He didn't have a chance with a team that actually could open up his abilities. We need a punt returner. We need one back. He's definitely made his mark on their team being that. So if we can put him on our team, I'm going to applaud him to be that mark for us. When he gets those reps from Mclaren, he might not get the same amount, but that's where we can use him later on the road somewhere else on the team. And that's where I think we could use him. But that's my call.
Gotcha.
You going?
Yeah. I'm gonna go real quick. So my guys, I think Will spoke on it with the whole getting Kevin Bourne and how the Shanahan offense. One thing we know about Riverboat is that he likes his guys. So whoever he's familiar with, he'll lean towards. So I definitely think Curtis Samuel is someone we should put some time in, especially with how McKissick and how our offense runs, where we do a lot of the gimmicky motion and things like that, or a David Moore.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about throwing these big contracts at these guys. I'm talking about getting them something to get them in there, see how they feel, and go for it. Along the lines of that return game, I think we need to put money. I've been watching Chicago all year. I think we need to put money in Cordero Patterson. He's a punt returner, kick returner. He can play running back like they can put him at running back like they did Ty Montgomery. He can play wide receiver. He's a vet. He's been in the league. I feel like we can get him we can get him from Chicago. Cordell Patterson is, I think, somebody that going like what you were saying, Anton, with having somebody that can do more than just one thing. You know what I mean? Getting him acclimated with us, I think he would be great. My dark horse, honestly, y'all might not even know who this guy is, but I loved his dad, Chad Beebe. little small white guy, little white small receiver. Listen.
What are you
There's a guy.
smoking?
Like, listen, stop. Because there was a guy that was in Dallas that torched us for a couple years in Cole Beasley, and now he's doing it in Buffalo. Chad Beasley, not our number 2. I'm not talking about our number 2. I'm talking about signing him, put him in the slot, let him do his thing. Y'all get out of here, man. All right.
No.
My team.
No.
None of y'all.
No.
Yo, Cordero Patterson. Honestly, I think that would be huge for us because we need somebody that does, like you said, Anton. We need somebody that does more than just as a receiver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need somebody where we can put him at, because special teams is a place that we have not been dominating in years. And honestly, we really haven't been like a serious threat at special teams since like what? B. Mitch?
They just
You would say Banks.
Right.
Since we had Brandon Banks, that's
Right.
our last time we actually had a good punt returner that could run the ball back.
Right. And that's what we need. I think if we got it like a Curtis Samuel as well, I think that Rivera could put him in a lot of different positions to make him successful. So I think that would be huge. Will, I love the Tim Patrick, but again, that's because I sat here and put him on a fantasy team because I needed somebody, and he just dominated for me.
Blew up.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, Ab, if you gonna dog me, I don't want to hear it. All right.
All right, all right. I'm about to come after you, but
He's about to take your head
all
off.
right. Let me say this though. I think he needed a moment to name drop real fast. So like that's why he had to bring in the BB comment. But I wanted to add on to what Will said, like into what you guys are saying is we need a player to add on to special teams. John Ross would be a phenomenal special teams returner anywhere, bro. Like fastest 40 time in the whatchamacallit? Combine. There you go. Yeah. He's fastest 40 time in the combine. Like why? Like that's ridiculous. That's returner type stuff. Even if he, like, to me, he's small, like 5'9" or so, and like I would say that man would be perfect in the slot right there. And that's a definite upgrade over Sims. We put this man in a slot, and I would still go out and get a wide receiver a little bit more than what it would cost to get John Ross, and that would be our starting 3 at wide receiver. And we literally just turned around our whole offense there. Yeah. I'd love to see that. Tim Patrick, I cannot complain about that man, like, at all. You guys are definitely on point with that. You said Cordell Patterson. I do not disagree. To me, if we got this man, it'd literally only be for returning. That's my opinion. He didn't do nothing as a running back. He didn't do anything as a wide receiver. So
returning was a specialty for sure.
Exactly. So to me, put that man back there and pay him a couple million just to do that. All set. Can we add this out there, guys? No, none of us said this. T.Y. Hilton's out there.
Right.
T.Y. Hilton, bro.
I wonder what it's going to take to get him. Because he had Phillip last year, and I had him on my fantasy team halfway through for most of the year, and he didn't do anything until like November, December.
That's why
it took him a while to get going.
Because of that. Like, Zach was his backup, but he still got almost the same amount of reps as T.Y. Hilton.
So I think that's going to be interesting. Go ahead, Will.
I'm curious what y'all want to do. Do you think we need to sign a wide receiver at lesser costs and giving someone an opportunity, or do you think we need to spend the money and get a legit number 2 that is going to live up to the contract?
Honestly, I'll take this first. Honestly, what I think we should do is I think we should do 2 things. I think we should get a legit number 2, but I also think we should. I know y'all gonna torch me for this. I think we should give a 1-year contract to like a Fitzgerald or an AJ Green and let them come in as more of a player coach and them teach and give the McLarens, the Sims, the AGGs, these guys the Harmons, teach them the ropes of the game. They're not going to sit here and dominate. They're not going to sit here and go off. But anything that we get from them would be great. And we're only tied to them for a year with whatever incentives and things like that. Let's use what we saw work with I can't do that with Dad. I can't. Are we ending this right now? See,
he said he wanted a mentor. You think Dad Bryant's going to mentor anybody?
Hey, there's always a chance. Let him be our better mentor. Give Dallas like that bad judgment call for letting him go. All that hate he's got. He wants to let somebody go. He's already got all that hate from being let down in the Baltimore versus Dallas game. Like, he was mad that he could not play them.
I know it.
If he tries 1 year, let him come to us. Let him play him twice in 1 year and show out,
Bro, like, wouldn't you be mad if you got released by a team and the game that you come back on, you get flagged for COVID? Like, wouldn't you be upset too?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Bring him on.
He got flat. They
got
him
one
that
chance
game when he was at warm-ups. You know what I mean? He was warming up for that game. He did that. So,
like,
but again,
F this. I'm done for the year, man. I'm done. I'm retired now.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing with Antonio Brown and him. I don't need a volatile receiver. I don't need a guy that's going to come in here and if things don't go his way, he's getting all bent out of shape. That's what we praise about McLaren, that he's the opposite of that. That he's not losing his mind if things aren't going his way. And see that we don't need that cancer. That's why I don't even want to look at OBJ or I don't want to, some of these guys. I do want to throw two names at you, Sanu and Marvin Jones Jr.
No, Sanu. I think Sanu's about to retire.
Yeah.
And gotcha. Marvin Jones Jr., I'm okay with that. I can't be mad at that at all.
Yeah, I'm not breaking the bank for him, but it would definitely be something I'd be like,
Yeah. Can I throw it out there? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, yeah.
Breaking news. Just so you guys know, Tyrell Williams is a free agent now.
From the Chargers, yeah. Okay.
No, from
They
Raiders.
looked at him. They looked at him 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was the Chargers. They had him 2 years ago. Then he signed with the Raiders, and the Raiders just released him.
Oh, wow.
That right there. He just got released a few minutes to a few hours ago. Wow. That is the man that is legit nice.
Nice.
Tall, lanky, and fast. He opens up the field, bro.
That's what we need.
That's right. Like I'm trying to tell you, like he checks off a few boxes in my book, man. And I would not be mad at that signing him, bro.
All right. So look, we got to cut it. We're gonna go around one more time for one last word, and we're each gonna pick one guy that if we can get him tomorrow, doesn't matter what it is, what's the cost. I'm starting with you, Ab. One receiver, you can pick. Who you got?
No matter the cost.
No matter what. I mean, whatever it is. You need number 2. You see the list. Who you got?
Bro, you put me on the spot, man.
You want me to go? You want me to move on?
Yeah, move on. Yeah, come back to me.
All right, Will. Who you got, Will?
Test, bro.
Okay. I'm a name that I didn't put out there. If it doesn't matter, if we can get him, I'm going Juju Smith-Schuster because he can move the chains and he has been with somebody, Antonio Brown, where he has been the number 2, still produced and not been a problem.
Nice. And what you got, man?
I'm gonna throw a rock in the window and say Danny Amendola.
Why are you on this call, man? What are you doing?
It doesn't matter the cost.
Hey, give me respect. I'm throwing out a name out there.
Come on, man.
Okay, all right.
You can fight with me later.
I'm gonna throw a name out there too. Crazy Legs Hirsch from the Rams of the 1940s. That's who I want. We're just throwing names out there. I mean, no, look. Honestly, I think Corey Davis. I think he's a big body guy, monster, could take it down. I think we could put the money into him and having two young guys like him and Mclaren. I think that'd be huge. All right, what you got?
I like that. Honestly, I'm right with you right there, Sean. But just for the sake of our show, I have to go a different route. I'm gonna say Chris Godwin. You know what I'm saying? I like this man's speed. I like this man nice stretch. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I like I'm trying to tell you both. Like, can y'all imagine, man? That's like in Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson days, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. That's too nasty. Right
he needs tar on his gloves to help him catch a damn ball.
Yeah, some drops.
Hey, before we do any of this, we need a quarterback. So all this is a moot point if we don't have the right person throwing it to him. But guys, we gotta go ahead and shut this thing down. What you say, Will?
No, I said they're not coming here with Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke.
No, right.
Yeah, bro.
Well, wait a minute. Danny Amendola might come here for Kyle Allen and Tyler.
He would, yeah. Look at my son.
How you gonna say Danny Amendola and I can't say Chad Beebe? Get out of here, man.
Yeah. I said what I said.
Still in the league?
I think so. He was on the list.
Yeah, he's on our list, bro.
Zay Jones is another guy that I think he's got some speed. He played in Buffalo. I think he would be a sleeper pick that we can bring in. But all right, man, I got to cut this thing.
Too. Let me put that out there. Josh Reynolds as a spot. Josh Reynolds
from the Rams. Yeah,
I
do like him. Hey, and he's very, very underrated, but he was huge in that offense. So I love that. All right, guys, man, we got to go ahead and end this, man. I mean, we could talk to y'all all night, man. I even tried to cut this to an hour, but it's 90 minutes because we got good content and we got good dialogue. So I'm not going to stop a good thing. It ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
We can't even help but put in an hour.
Hey, I'm here with my guys. I'm here with the shirtless wonder, Abdul Lowe. I'm here with Dub K, Will Kramer, and I'm here with the Ant Man, Anton Benton. You know who it is. Double deuces on the loose. And guys, hey, if you don't know, like the shirt says, we out.